Alright. Hello everybody, this is episode 23 of Shoot the Breeze, a chill interview and a chill time all around for you and me. I am your host, Heavy Divider, and right alongside me is he's quite the talented individual. As a matter of fact, he also has the ability on hand to make anybody laugh just by him being himself, no matter what it is on hand. Joke-wise, pun-wise, or basically any avatar you have, just to make it funny as could be. My guest for tonight on hand is SpiralGod. I just call him Spiral for short. Welcome, buddy.
Thank you so much for having me here tonight.
Yeah, all good. All good on hand. So, to get started on hand with my first question. How the hell did we meet?
At first it was actually kind of difficult for me to actually think of an answer like that. However, now that I think about it, it's easy. Met you through Saya, way back in the day, through Code Vein. First couple of episodes. You were interested halfway into it, and then all of a sudden you wanted to just be a part of it. Then came this avatar, and I'm like, hell, shit.
Yeah, it just kind of stuck with me for the most part on hand, like, just because, one, it was just the top hat in general, just because I didn't have, like, a larger one, but also, too, I just enjoyed human form. Also that on hand, or so.
Oh, no, it stuck with you big time.
Yeah, it stuck with me big time, and not only that, it's like, I think it's just, I can't really diverge for, like, different personalities on hand, as much as, like, you're able to, like, separate and have, like, different personalities with different characters, like, RP-wise in general. When it comes to, like, you know, character and plot points on hand. But besides that or so, I was gonna say too, if I remember correctly too, it was like before Code Vein and everything else, long before we actually had our chances to brush into one another too, like through Curry. Like at one point or so, we're basically at one point or another where I would just either be joining on Curry if they were doing like that open RP night or so, and then basically you'd be going around here and there, or it'd be like those moments where you just pop in with like certain stuff here and there with like avatars. What was that one avatar you always had? Yeah, like a certain avatar you always popped in at certain things. It wasn't the Donkey Kong one. It was the it was a shitpost one. Yeah, I remember you had it. Like it's been a while since I think about it, so it's kind of hard for me to remember. But
Another shitpost one. And this was back. When?
This was before the Code Vein RP. It's a lot of them, I know. A lot of them you had on hand here and there, just because you were able to use them for different means and just basically just like create humor-wise or so. Either way or so, I will say, yeah, it's been since last year actually when we met, if I remember correctly. Last year on hand during the whole thing that was happening. I think it was like October.
Oh no, a lot of shit happened between like Code Vein and shit like that, as well as the pandemic. There's been so much shit going on here.
Yeah. Yeah, there has.
And to think about it, I have way too many shitpost avatars.
Yeah.
I use way too many of those.
Hey, you utilize them in a very different way on hand. So hey, it works in your way, especially being from, you know, those two balances you have on being like a serious person to being like an absolute just like comedian in general for what you do. So
a lot of people say that I'm a comedian. A lot of people say that I like love to screw around here and there and shit. It's true. I get a lot of titles for that shit here and there. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, it's crazy on hand. Plus, it shows how much people love you, dude. Based on like whatever you do. So people just enjoy just being around you for that. So my next question I have on hand is your VRChat origins. How did you get started in VRChat, or what kind of sparked the interest for you to join the game?
That is a question I love to answer. Makes me go back to my memories. November 29th, which was a few days ago. I just celebrated that anniversary. 3rd year, actually, for VRC. On November 29th is when I bought the game and when I wanted to go in. My first experience with VRC is, of course, through Nags, through Joey Bagels. I remember seeing through several of his videos and the friends that he got that I know of today, which is surprising. It's amazing. And throughout the shenanigans that he has done, I'm like, well, with the stuff that I'm going through here and there, maybe I should just join right on into VRC just to see what it was all about. Doesn't disappoint firsthand. However, with me just meeting random people and stuff like that, you do have that sensible feeling of just being very sensitive around others. And yet you want to open yourself out even more just because this person opened himself out more to the community that has grown to what we know of today. And my first few days was just in a there were I can't remember the name of it. I think I could find it like in here somewhere. It's your basic casual like legacy VRC avatar, to which I wore the shit out of this like every other single day. Where is it? I know that. Yeah, yes, and you can find yourself this avatar in the Legacy VRC avatars now. Actually, the MN-01 Shadow, a black and red robot avatar with like the one little eye people and stuff like that. It's
the default avatar.
scuff, still scuff, but it's still usable. First got into VRC by using desktop, and I actually started doing a little bit of roleplay just to see what people would think. I'd be at the Great Pug, and then I just sit there just being like, well, me not have any arms, me like to get them soon, and then shit like that. People would actually come up and react to that shit to me, and I'm just like going, wow, people are so very communicative. I wonder if I could take this any further. A few days after that, my life changed forever. That was where I met Zentreya, the one that we all know, the Dragon Girl waifu that is like booming with VTuber status, who I do want to be in the very future, but that's later on in here. But me and her, we first started out. She was in VR, I was in desktop, and the first expressions and the first things that we both did was just play toss with each other in the old VRC 2017 world that we all know and love. And we did that for a couple days until we started to get in social ourselves. We went to world after world, getting friends, getting like people who we would call family of today. And from that point on, it just kind of stuck. Within the first year, within like the past first year, I was finally able to get VR. Oculus was my first VR, and with that old console I still have in my box, I'm never gonna forget those memories. The first time that I shown her VR, it was quite an emotional ride for her. She never thought that I would ever get VR, and thus I did. And I look at myself right now, and I'm like, this is all because I looked at several videos of just Joey Bagels himself at Nags. Thanks to him, I wouldn't have the courage to be in here. Very soon, I found Nags, aka Joey Bagels, in one of the Neko Nights. And being able to meet Ryan and all those different folk, all this just within 1 year. And at that given time, during the beginning and the middle of 2018, that was where I got introduced to RP in general with other people, with Sora, with Curry, and with the rest of the gang. That's where it kind of just soared. And to hear from as of today, I have learned several things. I have learned RP within 2.5 to 3 years. I'm now a host to many storytelling, to some of the stories that I make in RP, from horror genre to action to, well, just about the new upcoming projects that I have for next year. Well, basically.
No, I got you. And I will say, for the most part, from when you first started to where you are now, you've had a long journey adventure on hand, as well as basically just be able to progress and learn and just be able to excel yourself from where you were to where you are now in many terms and sense of storytelling and creativity.
Oh yeah, and because of the time that I met with Zen, that's where the entire like whole Napa thing stuff stuck in. Because 2-3 days in with Zen, I sit there and I'm like going, well, crap, I guess I better just like, because with the feeling of the robot, I'm like, I needed a change. My immediate first thought was Takahata 101's Nappa, and I'm like, in high school, I did this voice a lot. Fun fact, I did this voice ever since the first episode came out where I heard Nappa's voice. He was just so hilarious to me. Such an iconic, like, abridged character to me that I really wanted to do. At the very end of middle school, when I was beginning into high school, I met a friend of mine who was really, really good at the Vegeta voice, and I did the Nappa voice. We both stuck in with that. And then once he head over to college, that's when we both got separated. I'm like, well, Nappa voice on my own. And VRC, I'm like, I'm wondering, is there a world with avatars that has DBZ avatars? The old very first world of where I saw hundreds and hundreds of avatars that you would see as of today, which is the Kami's Hideout. Old place, keeps on getting renewed every single time. I love that world. The first time that I ever switched over to Nappa and was able to go around just doing my Nappa voice to others. And at that point, my voice soared to the skies within the VRC community. I went from person to person, just doing my abridged voice here and there, making RP scenarios just like that. Then I've had several people come up to me and is like, "Are you the actual actor?" And I'm like, "Bitch, nah, I wish I was." I wish I was, because he's such an idol to me. Then the next year, I see that everyone now looks up to me as the actual Bridge. Now, Gambit was like another one who I know of as like another abridged voice actor impersonator, along with me. And once I met him, we both were just immediate best friends. He and I had a lot of things in common. And then later on down that road, he's the one that also made the ALA Nappa. That's where my OC came to life. And I never knew that I would get that far. And then I got even farther, and look where I am now.
Yeah, there you go.
I have several RP characters within my account that's been made by amazing model makers, map creators, still going on to this day. And I'm very happy in the position that I am now with it. And I feel like it's going to get bigger from here on out, and I'm ready for it.
Yeah, there you go. And I will say on hand or so, when it comes down to whatever you grow in time or so, it's going to stick to you like a staple. So basically, even if people recognize you as something else, like for what you do RP wise or so, some people are always going to recognize you as, you know, as Nappa in general or so. When you first start on here and there, and basically those people during that first generation of like people who join on VRC are going to recognize you for that, and then over time or so, they're still going to be around. I mean, it's proven a test of time that people 3 years or so are still around on VRC. Pretty much, you know, you being here and everybody else. So yeah, it's like the members are not forgotten for the most part. Never has been. So let me ask you this question on hand too, as well as basically besides VRChat in general, what other hobbies do you have besides this game?
Lots of other hobbies. I have streaming that I've been doing a lot more now. Ever since I dropped out a semester because of COVID. Because of the pandemic, what's going around here and there, the biggest thing that's becoming more and more looked at is streaming, mostly on Twitch. And everyone knows that. People are starting on Twitch, people are getting bigger on Twitch. It's becoming, and VTubers, and this isn't because of like me saying this like jealousy or anything like that. I am never jealous of anyone.
I got you.
But because of this pandemic, VTubers skyrocketed. From the looks of it, they skyrocketed. And one of the top 7 people for there to skyrocket the most is Andrea. That I'm mostly proud of her for that, and that's like, hey, you know what? I could become a VTuber myself. So I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Might as well. People are saying that I should become a VTuber, and so I choose and I shall. But I've got to work on my stream stuff. I'm still having backgrounds being made by SkyMedic, actually. And that's going to be my second ever commissions that's ever going to be created. And the other... some of the other hobbies that I do along with streaming is like play other games. Like mostly like I play a huge variety of games. So far the ones that I've gotten into the most are Red Dead Redemption 2, Ori, the Ori franchise, super good, by the way. Graphics, story are amazing, both games. Will of the Wisps and Blind Forest, highly recommend playing those games for streaming because it's amazing storytelling. It's super simple. And it's got that like look to it that you want to play more of it. But the thing is that it's so unique and it's got very little dialogue. That's what makes it really, really good. It's so unique.
Sounds like it's based on like mostly the adventure kind of thing. Like basically, it's not a matter of what you hear or what the story's about. It's about the adventure along the way for it more than anything else. And
the story.
And the story? Okay.
Like, there's so many like ups with that game that make it. There was a reason why it was like one of the top, and I believe I remember it was rewarded for like one of the top best games ever. And it's no joke. People put a lot of effort into that game, and it's and the company that made it, the people who made that was their first few games. So then I look at the comments, and then they're all like, dude, who knows what else that they can make if they made a game like this look so good, so simple. And along with some other games, very rarely like would I ever want to play any multiplayer games that is like super competitive. But one of the very few, or like the only two games that I ever like playing competitively is if I'm playing Sea of Thieves, which is probably the best pirate game that's out there to date, and Among Us, which, even though with the stuff that goes around in Among Us, like the treachery, the backstabbing, all that type of shit, if you play with the right community, you're gonna have a good time. Me, Curry, and the rest of the gang, like, we play that shit all the time. We play that all the time, including in VRC. There's a VRC map of Among Us out there right now for people to play in VR, and it's so much more immersive. People are even RPing in that map,
which I'm surprised by too.
And I'm experiencing that myself. There are several other friends of mine, like with Brunswick, Callista, and several other friends that I have who have been RPing with this as well. I got that experience firsthand, and it's actually pretty damn cool. They give you assigned roles as like engineers, captain of the ship, co-captain, commanders, captains, whatever the stuff that you have. And you play by that, but you don't kill anyone as imposter. You don't know who the imposter is. It's literally like that you're in the Thing movie, like if it was in space or something like that. And it's amazing. It's amazing what people can do if you just put a little bit of thought and mind to it.
Oh yeah, just be able to take like something simple on hand, just like create like an interesting story where you could expand on that over time or so. But right now, it's just basically. It creates like almost like a movie plot in a way, like you said with The Thing. So it works pretty well.
Oh yeah.
So right off the back on hand, and I will say this for you. Let's talk about the RP scene now. When I say RP scene, I mean how over time or so, even when we're going through a pandemic on hand, it seems like there's a rise of the RP scene where basically it's growing higher and higher. Where, as you know, certain people are now being very interested in it. And you would see more of them in like certain places on hand, like for example from like Callous Row, for example. Like you notice that some of the people who never really RP on hand are now RPing in general for that, or basically you would catch them in like a Purple Lotus, or basically be in certain places like what you're doing right now, like Fractured Rose, or like the Metaverse on hand. I was gonna say, what are your thoughts and opinions on that as we're not peaking at this moment, but seems like it's still growing higher and higher as it keeps going, RP-wise in general.
RP in general, yes, it's growing massively, especially in VRC, because like you said, the pandemic's giving out a rise within the community of VRC. We get more members now each and every single day, whoever walks in. Callous Row, going there. The biggest RP event ever in VRC, bigger than Ascension Academy. And the reason that I say that is because they bring in people that I never thought that I would ever hear or see. And, for example, I keep forgetting his name, and I don't know why I do, but the kid from The Walking Dead, the one who plays Rick Grimes' son, he's in there.
Coral? Wait, really?
Yeah, he's in there. He's in there completely.
I did not know that.
He's in the Callous Row RP. Kraken, that man, one of the biggest Twitch streamers ever, is in that RP. You can find him in there. There are several people who are coming. Rubber Ross.
Ross.
One of the other guys from Game Grumps. He's in that RP as well. That RP is growing by every single day. You never know who or which other person now is going to join in the RP. Lampier is also in the RP. Just about the entire community that you would know is in that RP. It's great to see that great to see that RP grow. For like going into other different RPs, there's not gonna sugarcoat this. There's some good RPs and there's some bad RPs.
That's fine.
And it's for the bad RPs, it's understandable because of the pandemic-wise type of shit. Not only that, like having a lot of RPs and having those types of events in VRC in general is a double-edged sword. And what I mean by that is that you can have an RP, you can host one if you want to, but you may not get that many people, because you never know. There's probably hundreds of different RP events happening in VRC right now, and you don't even know it. For example, there would be an RP that I would host on like Tuesday, but then 3 other people say that there's 2 RPs that they have to attend on that day as well, then 3 RPs on Wednesday, then about 5 RPs on Friday and both Saturday, 2 parts. I've had people come up to me and then them being like, well, I have to attend this RP, I have to attend that RP. You have to like organize shit. As a host, you have to organize and talk with people and talk with the other hosts of other RPs in order to get an actual RP in.
Yeah.
To this day, it's very difficult because in Metaverse, I will say, the most clusterous RP of them all. For Metaverse RP, it's the Universe RP, but it's mostly like a playground is what people have told me. And you can bring in a demon, an angel, an Elrich of some sort, like a skeleton that's immortal. You can bring in a dragon, you can bring in all those types of things. Let your mind soar, let your mind fly, as long as you're able to fit in with everybody. As for the Metaverse in general, though, getting a character in would be quite hard, unless if you're quite acquainted with Purple Lotus, Golden Crown, social RPs that I recommend getting your character started with, because the big thing about RP is being social. And when you're social, you create scenes of measurement and character development, which you would need for like your stories and all that other type of shit. Now, RPs like Fractured Thrones is way different, and Ascension Academy as well, because they're in different universes. You gotta bring in your own character. You gotta start from scratch.
Yeah.
Fractured Thrones, one of the most fun RPs, biggest RPs that I've ever attended. I'm starting to get into like the big RPs as well. I'm gonna be getting back into Adventure RP Season 3 for whenever Kazuki hosts that back. I used to be an Intrepid RP, but Kazuki wasn't able to put enough time into that. We only had 6 episodes into that before it got switched over to Adventure RP. Now, I don't know what happened. I can't give enough information of what really happened behind the lines of what Kazuki was doing.
That's fine.
He's a good friend. He really is. But yeah, there's been like, in general, what you would need to do with an RP is mostly organization, communication, and the matter of the fact of where you tell yourself that you're confident that you can do this. Otherwise, you're gonna hit rock bottom with an RP session, and you're gonna feel like shit afterwards. But making an RP session is difficult. It takes time. It's not really like too difficult. It's time consuming.
It requires a lot of patience.
But as long as you're able to build up a story, and a lot of patience. But if you're willing to sit down, listen to yourself, then be like, all right, what story can we bring up with this? What pathway we can make it to where the main cast goes off and then sees this shit? Make it interesting. As for an RP scene, RP in general, you just got to be careful with those types of events, because there's also going to be people outside of the event, of which the event that you're going to be attending like every once or twice a week, that there might be scenarios of where this person's like, oh, I have a grudge against you, your dick's not that long, or some shit like that, something stupid.
Some ridiculous.
We've always had we've always had people who have like some troubles and shit like that within here and there of RP. People wanting to start shit. Some instances like Menagerie Academy, in which one thing I will highly recommend for RP in general: don't start drama and bring it into there. It's gonna be like cancer within an RP. It's slowly dying. There's nothing you can do about it. If you see drama, get it the hell out. Like it is not worth it is not worth your time. RP is supposed to be in a fun event. It's not supposed to be where you bring grudges into some place and then have an excuse to execute that grudge and use inside character development against them for that reason. I've seen people do that. It's stupid. Don't do that. It's not fun.
Trust me. I've had my fair share of some of that stuff happening, like different RPs, or basically at that moment where you could be in the background and you can just see all this is happening. Even if you're not behind the scenes like the RP, you can just kind of like get that sense that something's happening. Where basically you can tell somebody's character bleeding too much. So.
Yeah, character bleed, that too. That's also big. If you see character bleed with something like that, you pull them to the side and then be like, hey, what's going on? Like, is there anything that I can do to help? And if they can't help themselves, one thing is for sure is you gotta, like, get them pushed, like, into the sidelines of the RP to make sure that they are better. People don't care, like, what happens, because even though with 2.5 to 3 years of experience of, like, this whole RP etiquette scenario, I'm still learning from other people and taking down notes. I have a rule book, like, right in here that I keep right by me at all times just to make sure that things go out well. And I'm not the best. People say that I'm really, really good at what I do. However, I will say this. I am not the best. I am not perfect. There's still shit here and there that I have to do in order to learn from and be able to become better. One person who I will say is the best, though, is Mr. Brunswick. Mr. Brunswick is probably one of the best, probably if not arguably, the best RP host that I've ever seen in a long damn time. And the way he does things, he will research every single detail, every single stop sign. He will research, like, a crumb on the floor. And make like an RP scene out of that shit. For Fractured Thrones, he's made that along with his staff. He's made Fractured Thrones of where we literally start from scratch. We're in the medieval fantasy times. We're at a spot to where we're literally the poorest place on the planet.
No, I got you.
So we have to, like, struggle, survive, do all this other type of stuff. We have to know what our roles are. For example, me as a surgeon, I had to research some of my shit, like the bone saw, the syringe, the pliers, all of that. I have to learn how it's all done in order to actually, like, get that situated. Now I'm still learning the ropes for that, and even with that, it gives the struggle and the immersion within the RP. Immersion, that's what you want in it. That is like one of the, like, main components, and I'm gonna send this out there right now. To me, an RP is like a delicious dish that you want to create for the well-being of the community, for them to enjoy and eat with, like, a slow, like, with a slow pace. Like, an RP scene, it's like a steak, like medium well. You gotta make the time zones right with this shit. You gotta communicate with people. You gotta tell them, hey, how does this need to be, and, like, which day it needs to be. Like, with that, the steak could be like medium rare, medium, or something like that. When you get that right, that's where you want to get people to, like, want to eat up and digest the RP that you're going to host for them.
Savor the flavor of it.
Yeah, savor the flavor. Then you put up the spices. The spices would be the NPCs, the given storyline that you want to put on it to give it that pizzazz, to give it that oomph, to give it that thing that you would want, that people would want to enjoy. And once you do that, like, you put the salt and pepper on there and shit like that. You put the scenes on there. You put the story. Big thing, have it be made common sense. You put the wrong spice in there, people are not gonna like the steak no matter what you put on it. Yeah. It's not gonna work if you do not have that common sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just takes that one thing on it, and basically nobody wants to touch it. So.
Exactly.
There you go.
And with that in mind, you also gotta consider other people's characters. You gotta know what they're capable of doing. You use that to your advantage in the RP. Now, this is also a double-edged sword, using D&D dice. Now, that would sometimes be used or sometimes not during an RP, given or depending what the scenario is. There was an RP that I hosted a couple of weeks ago to which I had IBRS Mikuru play her character. And one of her characters was what she calls a booty Godzilla waifu. And I made her shit corrupted, so she became a raid boss. We did roll after roll after roll to make sure that everyone's attacks and stuff like that were fair. Mm-hmm. And it was, up until the point someone kept on getting a nat 1 several different times of where a pillar was stuck on them and they had to get out. They almost died, by the way. they almost died, and it was one of the most funniest goddamn things to ever see. It's the most dadgum fun you can ever have within an RP. When someone gets so much bad luck, you get a kick comedy out of it. And best part about it is that the person knows about this, they can improvise it. If it keeps right on going and the person's character dies, they'll be like, well, shit, I had a laugh. But yeah, no, it's... An RP overall is supposed to be fun, it's supposed to be enjoyable. Mm-hmm. For drama and for the rest of that shit, it can go and fuck off. Like, that's something that I want to, like, put that out there. I see that shit anywhere. It's not going in my books. Either you talk about it with me now, or it's never gonna get fixed. It's never gonna work. Get the fuck out.
No, I got you.
Like it's.
No, I got you on hand. I think the question I had on hand, but I feel like you already answered, being RP advice for those who are starting out. But I feel like you might have already answered that one. This is a basically like.
Oh no, there's more.
There's more to it.
Oh no, there's more to that actually. Oh yeah, there's way more for people who are starting out. It's big for when people start out. With new RP characters, because what's really big about that is that they're learning the ropes. They've got to know how to create a character, how to create a personality, be able to execute the personality given or made by the person who created the character, and be able to create that, impersonate him or her, depending, and then be able to use that into the RP entirely. For those to start off with, now they're not gonna know whether or not it's like what. Now, some who are like starting out who don't have that much experience, I must rather say, will try and go in there as themselves. Maybe if they don't think that much about it, they'll be like, "Hey, I'm ready." Then we're just gonna be like, "No, you're not ready. You haven't created your character sheet, all that other type of stuff." Like for the people who are new, I want to recommend those people to be like, hey, if you want to start up an RP, get some advice from others. Go to me to get some advice on how to create like a character sheet and stuff. There's also Saya, there's also Curry, and if you want to, you can also help out as well. There's a whole bunch of other people who have RP'd who have like made character sheets that would love to give you a hand. Like making a character sheet, that takes time. Like again, personality, age, your race. Are you a dragon? Are you a demon? Or something like that? Something specific. Yeah. Got to make your backstory. Got to give it some sense. Again, making a character sheet is also like making a dish, but you're making it for yourself.
Yeah, there you
As
go.
for people who start off with, if they are intending to learn but want to try and participate in the RP the next day, the one thing that I also do recommend is that they clone an invisible avatar, watch for themselves, or if they really do want to participate, then they can become an NPC. They would have to listen and follow directions of the DM, of the dungeon master, which that is also called that. To where, like, for example, like Link Easy, I'm communicating with her, big cutie by the way. She is wanting to get into some more of my RPs in general, because some of the other RPs, like, she's wanting to shift herself more towards some of the fun. Like, she's wanting to shift herself more towards, like, being as an NPC in general. She's mostly coming up to me for that. She's happy about that. I'm communicating with her about that as we speak. Probably after this, I'll probably communicate with her some more, or just get myself ready for Fractured Thrones. But she's one like that, for example. Like, pretend that she's completely new to the RP scenario, because RPs, like in VRC, are completely different than IRL. You're not just going in wearing a costume, going out there and like, cause there's like other RP like scenario, like events IRL. There's like airsoft like stuff going on with like zombie outbreaks and stuff. There's like stores and stuff here and there that you can like go through here and there. People don't act, people just do things. And then we have like other IRL, which there's like medieval scenarios that I've actually seen that look fun, but it's all just like fun and games. But in here, an RP is like an anime show. An RP is like a TV show, an anime that you would watch every now and then, or it's some sort of movie that you would want to watch because you're hyped about that shit. Reason why I say that is because people create models. People like find maps or create them themselves. They create animations for all this other different types of stuff. Like Ascension Academy, it's like watching an anime. You've got all these different people who have all these different personalities and all these different traits and with the character sheets that they created for themselves, and you want to get to know more about them, so you can watch their streams and shit like that. But as for the newcomers, going back to that, if you want to experience an RP the quickest and the best ways that you can, either ask the people who are experienced with it, ask them for some guidance, how to make a character sheet, or just become an NPC and experience one yourself. All you have to do is follow directions, follow the rules of what you need to do within an RP scene. Hell, it could be a community RP, it could be a serious one. It could just be full of shenanigans of where I just come in with a goddamn DK avatar and I just go ape shit. No pun intended. But that's what I have for the newcomers. I want there to be newcomers, and I want to give them the most comfortable first expression as I possibly can if they were to come after me for help.
I got you.
They always do.
I got you on hand, and it's easy to be able to take all that in just because when you've been around for the longest, you've already seen the good, the bad, and sometimes in the middle, you understand what you can and cannot do, especially from what you see on your side, or basically if you accidentally made a small mistake on hand here. So, let me ask you this too, since besides like RPs in general or anything else, and since you started on hand with like the VRC to here on out, is there any old VRC memories you can recall on hand that you could just remember from the top of your head? Like some of the stuff like you've experienced, some of the stuff that kind of like leaves a smile on your face when you think back to it on hand, or basically some of the stuff that you've been around for the longest time to be able to see and just be able to share with anybody that didn't even know about.
The very simple, the adventures with Zentreya that I've had. Back in the day when she has streamed almost every other single time in VRC whenever she can. Me, several other friends that we've made from like the past like half a year before we really got together and like started just hopping worlds, talking with each other, shenanigans all over the damn place, me being as Nappa, her being as the commander of the AOA, all that other different type of stuff. Before she changed to the dragon waifu that we all know and love, that the Adventures with Zen is probably some of the best memories that I'm ever going to have in VRC, because that's how we started. It stuck. Yeah. And with that, that is where I've also met Curry. That is also where I finally met Nags. It's where I met Lanfear and Oathmeal. It's where I finally met Cyan. It's where I finally met you and Saya. It's where I finally got into RPs, got to express myself a little bit more, got to see Faith, Kiryu, all those types of people, Sora, like just about every single person that I would have wanted to know of in VRC, I know of now and that I'm really good friends with. And it all started out with just the adventures that I've had with Zen. Like some of the other memories that I've also do remember, some of my two best memories was in the very, very old maps, of where me and Zen were gaining friend after friend and after friend, just having the times of our lives. We were in like a go-kart map and shit like that here and there. We just kept on racing. Every single day we would go to that place and we would just keep on racing. We would just do that shit. Whenever we find a new map to race on, we stuck with that. And then there was also a time of where when she herself started to make models, new ones, and where she actually had a gun with her before animations really did become a thing within VRC. She's like accusing me of shit, and this is like a funny RP bit. It's a funny bit, and she like points the gun at me when I'm like in desktop like a certain character, and she's like, I pulled a gun out. Why is there a gun in your shit? And I'm like, well, wait, Zen, what? Wait a minute, why are you doing this? Is like, let's go to the courtroom and shit like that. And then I'm like, ah, here we go. Here's where the fun begins. So then I do this all this other shit. One of my first ever RP scenarios that I've ever done in VRC, and it was so funny the way that this shit was handled. And it was really where, like, we even gained more friends, more memories. We played, like, the hide-and-seek games, the old ones, very, very old ones. And then we did adventures like the HDS, Huggy Dungeon series. We did part 1 and 2. We have yet to do part 3. I've only streamed part 3 only for the sole fact that I did not want to miss out on this one, along with being able to know official Saiyan as well. But yeah, no. The memories that I miss the most, that I really want to just press rewind and go back to, is with Zen.
I got you.
That's the only set of memories that I ever want to go back to. Just resetting myself to where I meet everybody back for when everything started.
No, I got you. And plus, not only that, it's just something you can always kindle to, for the fact that, you know, those are stuff you can't replace. Those are things you've experienced, you have felt, you have basically loved and cherished. And those are things that will always stick with you, no matter what. So, let me ask, okay, I have different topics on hand, being the VRChat Current Present on hand, and also its state at the moment. From when you first started to where we are now or so, what are some of the stuff you wish would have stayed in VRChat, or basically some of the stuff you're glad they've been changed over? In the presence of basically how, you know, the constant updates on hand, or basically certain things have been changed over time here and there or so. What comes to your mind when it comes to that entirely?
So, in comparison to the past and into the present of what's happening in the future, I'm gonna get this shit off of my chest.
Go right ahead.
Hackers, and all the other people who like force worlds and shit like that. Fuck them. Fuck their ass, cause they're the ones that created the entire scenario of where we, as the VRChat community, have posted ourselves to only being in private worlds. And people keep on saying to each other, why are people stuck in private worlds? It's because of them. Because of the first like 2 to 3 incidents of hackers being in VRC worlds, with everyone figuring out that there's a private world option, people never stop putting in private worlds. I want to go back to the time where in VRC, where I just remembered us having a goddamn wonderful time with everyone in public worlds before hackers made it to where public worlds became dangerous. There's a reason why I rarely go into public worlds. Only for the sole fact that there could possibly be a hacker standing right on your left and you not being able to know about it. Like, if you're in a public world, because there's been times of where Trapman, I believe, really funny guy, amazing, wonderful dude. And he's also in Fractured Thrones as well, along with Thamriel.
Yeah, he's also in Aegis, if I remember, too.
Thamriel?
No,
or Trapman?
Trapman in Aegis, I think, or is that Metaverse?
I have no idea. I'm not in Aegis.
You're good. You're good.
But yeah, no, like the time of where there was even a hacker where all he has to do is stare at you for 5 seconds and then they'll be able to hack your account. That's the scary thing, because people can quickly like hack your account just like that, and you won't even know it. It was insane way back in the day. Like in the middle of 2018, I believe, is when the whole private worlds thing started. It's where we keep on seeing the memes on Twitter of VRC private worlds just be like, and it's like we have just the one dude of where he just goes up to the fence of where it just says private world, and there is like let me in, and all that other type of shit.
Yeah,
like
the Eric Andre show.
Oh yeah. Even like the other people who are very well known in VRC can't get into other private worlds because those other private worlds either are busy or the invites are broken to shit. By the way, that another thing to get back into with VRC in general from the past into the present. I love the staff team in VRC. They're willing to do anything that they can to make sure that it is a safe platform for everyone to be in, and to make sure that everyone is comfortable being in there without them feel like that they're being hacked into another private world. And at that given time, that was when people want to start shit. And I really, really hate that people have to do this. Like, yes, sometimes the VRC devs screw up here and there. One of their biggest screw ups, though, that for the first time ever that actually got me real angry, was the mere fact that they had an update, and you probably remember this too, where all maps and all models within all accounts, along with Unity and their memories, are gone.
I remember that. I actually do remember that.
Yeah. I was about to call that shit the big VRC breakup. Because that would have been where the game died off completely. Because I remember that shit one time where a guy came up to me and was like, the VRC devs really, really screwed up this time. What I want you all to do is reset it in a way where this shit doesn't affect you. And I'm like, what's going on? And it's like I said, the VRC devs really screwed up this time. If you exit and try and come back in, not only that you'll lose all your models and maps, but you'll also be banned. And I'm just like going, what?
Like,
what have they done?
It's like a very odd thing. It's like, what kind of messed up coding did they do to even get that to happen? And it's like, how do you combine that into one thing? It's like, it's ridiculous on hand.
The VRC devs are infamous for messing up shit like that. Yet they fix it within like a week or two after, and it's fine. One of the biggest thing, and here's how I know that they work hard to their asses off. Mm-hmm. It's because of the amount of people and the specific people who've been coming into VRC. For example, very good example, very, very good example. A day before, and this was when Unis Honest with Markiplier and Ethan were still a thing. Mm-hmm. There was that one video of which we all remember. They both went into a Lakuza world in one of his climbing maps, and they did an Unis Honest video in there. Hilarious as shit. But the next day after that, the VRC community, along with the people who joined in there, exploded. It exploded with people in there, because you know how those people are.
Yeah.
They want to see the people quite possibly, because it's a free game. It's a free game. You could visit a world of where quite possibly they're in there. Mm-hmm. You could have a chance for that. What have you got to lose? However, when that happened, when the community skyrocketed, the devs were not ready.
Yeah.
And that was where I look into my menu right here. I click on the menu. I look at the ping. From like 3 to 4 p.m. EST, it was completely fine. It was at its usual 90, 100 ping. 100 ping would be the highest that it would go into. Lowest would be 70s.
Yep.
Next hour later, 100 to 200. I'm like, okay, well shit. 7 to 8. 300 to 400. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
9 to 10, 600, 700, and then after that, it would just go to 1,000, 1,100.
I was gonna say, I think I was there when that happened on hand, just because of the fact we had that moment where there was like a lot of people at a certain time on hand where our pings was beginning to rise for some unknown reason. It's because of the amount of people that were on VRC. Like, the servers could not even handle that many people. Like, yours was like up in the thousands or so that one night.
Oh yeah, and I couldn't visit anyone. I couldn't say hi to anyone. I'm not going to lie to you. I was sitting down in a chair, fucking depressed for about past 3 to 4 days before they finally fixed that.
Yeah. Quite
possibly longer. I couldn't remember it because I don't want to remember about that time.
That's fine.
Because that time was such dark times for me. Because I missed so many sessions. I missed so many friends. It was so bad. It was goddamn. Ugh. One of the worst times for them to try and fix something, but overall, they were still able to fix it.
Yeah.
If they were this shitty like people said, they wouldn't fix it at all, and people wouldn't be playing it in the first place. But they still fixed it. They care about it. They care about us, and they want to keep right on going with it. For the people who I like want to say, and for the VRC devs in general, y'all may say that they are shit. They're not. They're working their asses off to make sure that this platform stays is alive, and to make sure that everyone has fun in there. If you do have fun and shit like that, then they're accomplished. They've done what they've needed to do.
No, I get
and
you.
so far from as of right now, in my eyes, the VRC devs have done the most of what they can do. They're working hard at their best. I used to not like the VRC devs whatsoever, and I will say that. I'm not ashamed to say that.
That's fine.
And it was for a good reason. It's because I never knew what goes behind the headsets of others. But then at the given time, when I was more considerate, then I look at them and I'm like, hey, you fixed this problem. You do care. Like, it's simple as that.
But to kind of follow up on hand with VRC in general, or so, is there anything you're looking forward towards whatever they're going to be releasing? Because right now, I think the thing they released at this moment is just the VRC Plus, which is
VRC Plus,
which is basically just to be able to try to support the game in general. Even though it's free to play, it's also basically just try to support it in general in the sense of like helping them out, like I guess for some of the stuff they're going to be creating on hand, just to be able to optimize it more, or be able to use it on hand to like, because I know what you get out of that is like some couple free cosmetics, as well as just basically like some more like open space for like free avatar spaces you can easily save on hand. So
to be honest, VRChat Plus, I'm thinking of as a double-edged sword. And to be honest, I'm on a little bit of the nervous side for it. I mean, I'm excited, but nervous at the same time. It's a double-edged sword for me, because from what I've seen on VRChat Plus, from what I've heard, you have to pay $10 to actually get the full experience, making it into like a TF2 free-to-play game. Or not really that, but something else like that's completely out of the ordinary, like $10 a month type of deal. It's that type of scenario in which, I mean, with it getting as big as it is, I get it, but because at that given point, if they actually do that, I feel like that they're considerate with other people, but that would also make me think that they are not that much considerate of other people, of how like broke some people may be. Because there's people who I have met here in VRC that I have RP'd with that have broken PCs, but they still work. They live in either just apartments or just houses that are just completely crapped on. There's people who are just living with low income, low money rate and shit like that, and like, from what I hear from them is like, all right, I need this money by next month or I'm gonna go homeless. And I have a feeling that with as many people as I know, by the time that this comes out, if that does not change, I have a feeling that half the community is gonna leave the VRC community in general, only for the sole fact that they don't have the money to participate in VRC anymore. Because to me, the VRC devs are making it look like that people need to pay up in order to play VRC, and I'm like going, dude, they have models that they have to do. Like, at this given point, people have to like open up on more commissions. People have a lot more time on their hands that they're not supposed to have, and it's just going to be a clusterfuck of a whole bunch of shit. There's a Twitter post that I saw with one of Akaneko's Twitter posts. Cutie as she can be, one of the biggest cuties that I've ever seen in VRC, of where if you don't pay up the $10, you can't see their avatars, and that to me kind of sucks. Because what if you don't have those $10, or what if you can't afford that to look at other people's avatars? Are you just gonna be able to see all those like avatars that are like gonna be like yellow to you the entire time? It's like, get VRChat Plus, pay $10 a month, and I'm just like going, at this given point, you're gonna drain people $10 a month that they're not gonna afford anymore. Like,
I know.
It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, it's kind of a tightrope, basically. Like, it can lean at certain points.
If they change a couple things here and there, though, like, if they at least make the price cheaper, like $5 or $6 or something like that, then it could be affordable. Or if they don't have it pay it all, then just completely change all the stuff, make it to where we can, like, favor more avatar shit here and there like that, then we'll be able to do it.
No,
but, But with VRC devs, if they do this and if they stick with the gimmick, I have a feeling that it's going to make a really bad impact on the VRC devs. I know that they're trying to get money off of this, but doing like the whole $10 a month thing is not the way. And I'm not saying this with a Knuckles meme impression. I'm saying this as professionally, like, that this isn't gonna go the way that they think it's gonna go, and that no matter what, it's just gonna go in a bad direction. People don't want that. People don't want to pay $10 just so that they can go to an RP event. You know?
No, I got you.
Like, cause not only that, I just realized this now. With RP events of what's going on, with models shit like that here and there being made, and if you can't see them just because you have to pay the $10 for it, RP events are also gonna get screwed. Because RP events, again, are supposed to be fun type of stuff to get away from IRL stressful shit here and there. People don't want to pay $10 just so that you can go and afford to an event, and then the next month, if there's another RP event, pay another $10, and I'm like going, no, that's not how we should do things.
No, I got you.
This could also possibly break avatars, maps, and a whole bunch of that other shit.
Yeah.
But hey, with everything that I've been saying, I'm just one person. There's probably hundreds of other people out there right now that have different opinions, facts, and probably have different perspectives on this shit. VRC devs have different perspectives on this shit as well. If they have something to back up of why it's going to be beneficial for the VRC community, I'd love to hear them out.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to be able to debate on hand, just be able to have simple conversation where you can hear one side and hear the other side of what they think here and there, and just be able to have a clear understanding on what some people think. It's just kind of hard to have on hand. I think it's because some people see it as kind of like somebody being completely on the offense on hand with what they say. It's basically someone's gonna take it really personal on hand for having a different opinion, you know?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, to change things up on hand or so, let's talk about anime. Now, I'm pretty sure you've watched a lot of anime on your free time when you ever get a chance on hand. And I was gonna ask you this, basically, when I say anime on hand, what will be the first series that comes to your mind when you think about it?
Now, are we talking old school or some of the stuff that you would normally see a few years ago?
Anything that would basically pop in your head for the most part. It could be old school, it could be new, it could be what's right now. Basically, when you think of anime, what will be your first go-to anime when you think the world in general?
For this to recommend, I'll go for one that you can find that was made a couple years ago, and one that is definitely old school. If you're wanting to get into anime, and if you want to understand the hype that is anime in general, you know where my name comes from? Gurren Lagann. That's exactly why.
Now, there you go.
Because not only that it's a really, really amazing anime with great storytelling and shit like that, there is also a it's only 25 episodes. That's the best thing about it. There's other animes out there that is on their 800th or 900th episode. It's a good RP to start off with. It's got amazing voice acting. I've even met the voice actor for Kamina, who is the best character in the actual anime, arguably, and no one can say fucking otherwise. No one can say otherwise. But that anime is so flipping good. The shorter animes I recommend for people to get them started out with. Yeah. Another great example, old school, Trigun. Amazing. Amazing dub. Good sub here and there, I must rather say. Gurren Lagann, though, both good for sub and dub.
Alright.
However, for Trigun, also good story. Amazing, old school. You can tell just by the graphics that they've done and the animation that they have put into with the anime in itself, of where follows the main character Vash the Stampede, gives him the story and shit like that. Throughout the entire story, you get to know him a lot more, and it gives out the country apocalyptic vibe to it that you would not normally see. It's unique. it gives off that classic apocalyptic feeling. Now, if I were to try and include like another two from mine, some of the other good ones would be like JoJo and Boku no Hero Academia. If you want to get into the longer like episodes and longer scenes and stuff like that, and want to get to more storytelling, those are the other two that I also recommend. It's really, really good.
No, I got you on hand. And to kind of get like on the personal side for you when it comes to anime, what would be the anime that will hit you close to home? Like something that you truly feel.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, something that you truly feel just because you have that emotional connection to it.
Oh shit. Well, I did get my name from Gurren Lagann.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would kind of like connect myself more to that anime in general, because again, it was one of my first few animes to start off with as well. And with how emotional that was, with only 20 to 25 episodes in there,
yep,
it's amazing.
Well, there you go. Well, there you go on hand. And this kind of leads me to my last question I have on hand. As you can see, I have this camera right in front of you, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to back up. I'm going to give you the center floor, and I have a question to ask you on hand. Yeah, just go ahead and take the center floor for you. And basically, what I need to ask you is this:
I gotcha.
What are your goals and dreams? And at best, what is the best advice you can ever give to anybody? I'm going to back up. I'm going to let you have the center floor for this.
Alright. Many people have said this. Many people have said this. Many streamers specifically. And I'm about to say it as well, because you can't get enough of this. For me as a streamer, I want to make people happy. It's the reason why I do my shenanigans with my comedy and all that other type of shit. I want to make people happy. I want to make sure that they have a smile at the end of the night, knowing that I just made their day a lot better. Because here in the VRC community, you do not know what's behind the headset. You really, really don't. It's a matter of perspective. You only see the avatar that they are using, and you only see the emotions that they show. However, for when it comes to people who are not streaming like out of the blue, or just behind the scenes, for those of you that like want to act, if you see someone that is hurting, especially in VRC, because even I had those times of where I was hurting, where I've had lost one, and then people had to like come up to me and help me out. Do the same for others. And my goal, not only to make people happy, but to make a streaming career out of myself. I'm actually wanting to try and shoot myself, and one of these days I want to try and see if I can shoot for partnership, because a few people have already told me, hell, even Rebel said that I was wanting to try and shoot for partnership, and hell, I'm not even that far into shit. I'm super damn small. So yeah, but either way, like, there's still stuff that I need to do with streaming and stuff like that, but my main goal for streaming is to become a successful VTuber. I want to be that much of a person. I want to be a symbol to people to make people happy. And like I said before, I'm not the first person to say this. There's a whole bunch of people, even Curry Games, several other streamers, that have also said the exact same thing. I'm just one of those people who want to try and climb that way. I want to try and climb and get to the people where they're at, to like have fun with many let like give others the smile and happiness that they deserve, the smile and happiness that you deserve. And for the major fact that I just want to let people have fun with my RPs and stuff like that. It's still going on to this day. Just remember, like, everyone just deserves a smile. You just got to be able to put in 3 seconds, just a smile right on back of them to just make their day. That's all it takes. Just one smile. Maybe a conversation. Maybe a little bit of socialism. But yeah, either way, that's what I want to do for me and my future. And don't think negative about some of the past. If there's something that hurts you in the past, don't let that drag you down. If you need us to try and help you pick yourself back up, we'll be there. No matter what. I've been there for hundreds of others. I know what it is like. I know what it's like to lose a loved one. I know what it's like to be in a depressed state. This community has helped me get up and be some of the best kind of person that I can be. And you can too. It is not that difficult.
Alrighty. Alrighty, well, there we go. And I'm gonna say that is very noble of you to really, like, to want to be able to be there for others as well as just be able to be something for everybody else. Like, trust me. Trust me when I say this, people need that kind of, like, you know, positivity on their hands, especially for those who could be able to, like, stand up and just be able to show, you know, there's a lot of good things out there. No matter what it is. It may be difficult on hand, but if you want to be the proving factor on that, or so, just basically, you can do it. That's the key thing on hand. So...
Oh yeah, sometimes people would just need a little kick.
Mm. So before I close everything off, does anybody have any questions for Spiral? If you guys have any questions, to be able to ask him on hand for the most part, because I'm keeping an eye on the time for you, because I know you got to go soon for Fracture Thrones. It's like 7:08, 7:08. So if you don't, it's okay.
Yeah, I gotcha.
If you don't, it's okay on hand. I guess not for right now, but until then, I will say. That will be episode 23 of Shoot the Breeze. Thank you guys so much. Oh, hold on a second. Well, actually, Pappy's got one question here.
Ah, Pappy.
Pappy, what would you like to ask? No. Go ahead, Pappy. What would you like to ask? Really quickly. Go ahead, Pat. Okay, Pappy asks you, why are you so cute?
It's because I don't deny it. For those that are in denial, I'm coming after you. And I'm telling you that you're fucking adorable as shit. You deserve to be called that.
Well, there you go.
So.
Well, there you go. There you go on hand. And with that, that will be episode 23 of Shoot the Breeze. Thank you guys so much.